Why are Israel and Palestine fighting? Israel and Palestine have been wrapped up in a century-long battle for territory, but are currently at the brink of all-out war. How did this conflict begin? Let's jump back a few decades to see what really started all this fighting. Prior to World War I, that area was controlled by the Ottoman Empire. They were technically Arabs, but most people living under their rule considered them to be conquering Turks. As such, various groups that wanted Arab and Israeli independence started to emerge. These groups were fighting against each other. They had a common enemy, the Turks. As a result, their causes did it somewhat peacefully. Then in World War I, Britain encouraged Arabs to organize and revolt against the Ottomans, promising them the right to set up an Arab state after the war. The Arab world complied and started revolting against the Ottomans in 1916. Around the same time, the British Foreign Secretary Arthur James Balfour gave official support to British Jewish community to establish a national home for Jews in Palestine. And that's where it all began. Both sides thought they had the right to establish nation in the region. So they spent the next 30 years establishing the groundwork for those nations. Arab groups did that by fighting against Turks and organizing themselves into somewhat cohesive national identities: Iran, Iraq, Palestine, etc. The Jews did it by migrating en masse to the area, setting up their own economy and system for self-governance. Their migration was put on by hundreds of years of Jewish persecution in Europe, 2 world wars, and a Holocaust. So Israel was established in large part as a safe haven for Jewish refugees. During this migration period, there were conflicts over land and territory between Jews and Palestinians. But compared to today, it was relatively calm. Then in 1947, Britain and the UN finally got around to keeping their word and allowing the Palestinians and Jews to establish their own nations. They broke the area with borders that looked like this: Israel is in blue and Palestine in green. The problem was, a lot of the Palestinians lived in the area, now controlled by Israel, and some Israelis lived in the area, now controlled by Palestine. The Arab world followed Israel was infringing on the state they were promised after the war, and Israel was already starting to disenfranchise Palestinians who were stuck inside their borders. In 1948, fighting broke out between Palestinians and the Israelis, causing the surrounding Arab nations to attack Israel in its attempt to eliminate it altogether. Israel won. During this conflict, over 700,000 Palestinians left the area or were displaced. And Israel had expanded their nation to control, but is now about 78% of historic Palestine. Palestinians claim that after the war, Israel wouldn't let them return home, forcing most of them to live in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. Both areas now function as a home for Palestinian refugees. In the years that followed, Israel established walls to separate the Palestinian areas out, and they also enacted laws to further establish their Jewish state. Laws that by nature offered fewer rights to non-Jews. They also established a strong active military. There were way too many incidents in military conflict that took place after the recount here. But the basic story for each conflict is generally this: militant Palestinian groups or other Arab nations used force in an attempt to either reclaim land, protest the conditions of Palestinians under the Israeli rule, or eliminate the entire nation Israel. Israel responds by winning militarily, displacing more Palestinians and expanding their own territory.